Hello and welcome back to Princess Evangile. I knew I should just stop looking. But I was hypnotized. What could it be? Damn, what could it be? Hey, what are you doing? You have to start counting. Yes, of course. You should count as well, Masaya-sama. Oh, yeah, right. What? Masaya-kun doesn't have to count. We don't want him getting first place anyway. We can't give special treatment to anyone. Oh, you really are a stickler for the rules. Sorry, it's a little hot in here. Do you mind if I open the window? I stood up, addressing my words to no one in particular. Huh? The window? I was finding it hard to breathe in a way that had nothing to do with the heat. It was the fire. I couldn't sit still, thinking about fire in a room full of people. I needed some ventilation. No, I needed a way out. I wanted to run away to escape this room. And the sense of fear kept expanding like a balloon. And without thinking, I opened the window wide. And just then, just as I opened the window, it came. Ah! I heard a scream followed by a loud thump and quickly turned back around. Oh, I slipped on the board. Are you alright? Yes, Wana-sama, I just what? I sent everything flying everywhere. Yes you did. Oh, all the money. The minute Konomi-chan hit the floor, the bills went flying everywhere. Oh, now there's no way to know how much everyone had. Sorry. It was because of the wind as well. Masaya-sama, would you mind closing the window now? Yeah, right. Closing the window shut out the sound of the rain outside, and the violent billowing of the curtains calmed. And I walked back to the group. Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's time to call it quits. You may be right. Hey, what are you talking about? Huh? But in a world where money is useless, what do you think wins the day in the end? Power, of course. Huh? In other words, ignoring my protests, Ayaka-san proclaimed in a loud voice. The bet is still on, but victory will not be decided by money, but by speed. The fastest wins. Sister, please. Yes, no grumbling now. Anyone who doesn't like it can sit back and watch the hot vizier action. Then I won't lose to you. Neither will I. The air itself seemed to flicker, and the silhouettes that had been plastered to the wall began to come together. It was something of a happy sight, but it was also a wee bit frightening. Here we are, and go! Ah! The hell was that sound effect? Oh, finally. About 30 minutes after we finished the game, the power finally came back on. Ah, jeez. There was nothing to do in the dark, and it was far too early to sleep, so I ended up just staring into space. I decided to clean up the room first. And I found my eyes drawn to the candle, which was hardly burned down at all. Seeing it unlit now, it was clearly a harmless thing. And it seemed unbelievable that something so small could have pushed me to the brink of terror. But I was sure that if I lit it again... I pulled out a match and decided to test that theory. My hand began to tremble. God damn it. Becoming more determined, I grabbed my right wrist with my left hand to steady myself, but the shaking just wouldn't stop. And I gave up and tossed away the matches. The shaking immediately stopped. What's going on here? I have to remember where this phobia of mine came from. It was feeling more and more urgent. But how can I make myself remember? I slapped lightly on my forehead with the heel of my hand. Naturally, it didn't really help. Whoa. As I went to take a bath, I glanced at the wash basin mirror and let out a cry of surprise. These are lipstick marks, right? Colour started to spread across my face. Thought I felt something against my neck in the dark there. So that really did happen. They'd all jumped me, sending the back of my head against the floor. I could barely tell what was going on. Then they all left immediately, so I didn't even get a chance to ask. I thought back to the sensation. Light smacks of warm flesh against my cheek, my forehead, my neck. But I didn't remember feeling any on my lips. That was a good thing, right? It was a good thing, after all. I didn't want a real kiss if we weren't in love. These were just expressions of affection. There were some girls who wouldn't hesitate as far as that went. But these girls weren't like that. In other words, they followed their feelings. They did this because they had feelings for me. Which meant I would have to answer those feelings somehow. Mentally I understood that, but why couldn't I convince myself to do it? Was I really that indecisive? Someone had said that about me recently, and I remembered hearing it long ago, too. As I thought about that, something occurred to me. My indecisiveness may have also started with the event that I couldn't remember in my past. That lost memory wreathed in flame. That hole where the memory should be had been a slope like an antlion's den. Was that what was keeping me from moving forward? Or maybe that was just an excuse to keep me from acknowledging my own indecisiveness. Well, that was the most uneventful one of those ever. If I want this to reflect my future, I'd better get the Freedom course. And Ritsuko should get the Intellectual course, naturally. It's the spinner that decides. Huh? There was something familiar about those words. I knew it. You two always land on all the best squares. Perhaps karma is rewarding my virtuous nature. If this is about virtue, then why am I at the bottom? The room was strangely dim. There was something flickering in front of my eyes. Shadows? Yes, they were shadows. Dancing, flitting above the girls' heads. I didn't like it. But the girls didn't seem to notice. Why is it so dark in here? How are they playing when it's so dark? Huh? Of course it was dark, the power was out. Where was that light coming from? My eyes turned to the table and I realised it. Flame. I feel a bit hesitant after seeing the results so far, but I'll take the specialist course too. I turned quickly towards the strange voice. San? Something about that doesn't quite add up. Add up. No, that wasn't Rai-san. Candle flame, actually. Flame. Whoa! Flames! They're all around us. Are we allowed to marry other players? Then I wish to marry Masaya-san. Wait a minute, you can't just call that. Hold on, you guys, this is no time to be playing games. I screamed so loud I thought my lungs would burst. My words didn't seem to reach them, and they kept looking at the board, laughing and talking. And they were already surrounded by the flames, and I watched in horror. You can all... Huh? And even amidst the roaring flames, her voice stood out in sharp relief. You can all... burn to death. Not all the girls were playing the game. Rai-san alone was staring down at the floor, and her hands hanging limply at her sides. They stood out clearly from the circle. Burn to death. I spun round quickly. The window! I've got to get out. No, I have to get her out. But who? The name of the girl, what was it? It was like the name of an animal. A dog? No, that's not it. That was my name. I threw the window open wide. Ah! And in that instant, a scream echoed from my lips. I was already surrounded by flames. You guys! Ah! I spun around, but there was no one there. No one. No, there was one person. Standing in front of the shrine gate. It was her. We have to get out of here! Where could we go? The flames were like walls all around us. I felt a tug on the shirt on my back. What will we do, Chien? Please, don't be mad when you hear this. She's my... That's it! And I cried out at what I was carrying in my hand. Here it is! Huh? I brought out the toy slingshot that I bought earlier. It's dangerous. I shouldn't point it at people. That's what the man who sold it to me had said. I'm going to hit her with this. Once I hit her, you run out, okay? Right. I heard a sound like a choke and looked up from my hand. The girls were drawn closer to me than before. Because of you. Because you're here. Huh? What was she talking about? I was afraid. and not just with the knife in her hand. The voice seemed to resound all around me, from some distant place. She glared at me, her face twisted with hatred. God, that's why I was afraid. If it wasn't for you... And the air around us was wavering in the heat. And previously the woman's form wavered with it, but now she was slowly coming closer. If only. She was terrifying. Because of you. I began to draw away, hiding the girl behind me. You should just... The woman raised her right hand. And the cold steel flickered in the light of flame, sparkling like the light of sunset. And I gripped the slingshots tightly in my trembling hand. I wasn't sure how well I could aim, but at this range I probably couldn't miss. I pulled back on the band, and then I released it. I think the woman was saying something in that moment. Ah! Ugh! It hit. It struck in the forehead. She slouched forward. The wedge shook her head back and forth, reminding me of a lion dance I had seen once. Now! I grabbed her by the hand and pulled. For some reason her body felt heavy. It didn't seem like she was walking on her own power. Liz... I turned back uneasily. Her eyes were focused on the ground. Even surrounded by the fire and the skin-scorched heat, Liz's face seemed to be cast in shadow. I can't do it. What? I can't. Come on, we have to go! I gave her another hard tug. And behind me I could hear a sharp sound, different from the roar of the flames. Almost like a sharp wind. Ah! The woman was swinging the knife madly, her other hand clenched against her bleeding forehead. If we got too close to the flame, our clothing would catch fire. So we'd have to slip by her as close as possible, but with the way she was swinging that knife, that wasn't going to be easy. There was only one way out. The shrine gate was the only safe route. And the woman was standing in front of it, which meant that we had to slip past her. Let's go! I took her hand once more. Right! She nodded. Her despondency had lasted for only a moment before the strength returned to her eyes. I calculated the timing carefully and leapt at her in the middle of her swing. Though we were past her, we still weren't safe. I heard footsteps and felt a presence behind me. It felt like a nightmare, like being chased by a monster to the ends of the earth, and my steps began to waver. As I did, I could see Liz ahead of me, running. Good. Now we're safe. Ah! Suddenly, I felt a burning pain run along my back. The next moment, my shirt was wet and clinging to my skin. Sweat? No, not this suddenly. I tripped over my own leg, my momentum sending me flying. And the ground was approaching fast. It all happened so suddenly I couldn't shield my body from the impact. My forehead struck the ground, my neck jerked upwards. And I bounced once, and fell again. Jian! The starry sky spread out before me, glowing in red. My strange moans tailed off, and I let out a big sigh. My back was arched as if I was being pulled upwards. I had to exert conscious force to relax. See, I was exactly right. Took a knife wound, and took a head wound. And the head wound obviously caused me to forget the knife wound. As I'm under the impression that bad blows to the head can cause short-term memory loss. I could, again, that could just be one of those fallacies that a lot of people think is true, but actually isn't. I'd have to go on QI to find out. For anybody who's not British, and I don't know if it's ever shown in other countries, QI is a quiz program hosted by Stephen Fry, which is short for Quite Interesting. And they sort of, they talk about stuff that's quite interesting. But one of the things they have is the buzzer, which usually comes up when they ask a question, and somebody gives an answer that a lot of people think is right, but is actually wrong. And the, sorry, it's not a buzzer, it's a klaxon. Which actually, it's not even a klaxon. At one point, somebody, at one point, one of the questions was, now what's this sound? They played their own klaxon, and somebody sort of buzzed in and went, a klaxon? And it went off and started flashing klaxon, because apparently it's technically not. But anyway, well, it's really good. It's quite an amusing program at times, but it's really good for finding out stuff you thought was true actually isn't. Anyway, the bed below was pleasant and comfortable, and I sank back into it, letting it swallow me up. The air conditioning was running at full power, yet my whole body was soaked with sweat. My shirt. shirt sticky with sweat. In that moment I felt like I'd remembered something. But it only went as far as a vague feeling of recognition. In the end I couldn't bring the memory into focus. It was like a thin but durable sheet of rubber. On the other side of that sheet was my lost memory. And I thought that if I charged it I could break through. And in the end I just bounced back. Ow. Ow! The words drifted from my mouth as I rubbed at my back. At the time I had had that nightmare about flames, and for some reason it caused a stinging sensation in my back. And it disappeared as soon as I woke up, so it probably wasn't worth worrying about, but, well, it didn't exactly feel great either. Yeah, so we're now actually into the summer break. Summer vacation had begun, and the majority of students had gone home. The dorms had fallen quiet in the midsummer air. Walking the corridors, eating in the dining hall, it was rare to even see a single other face. But I was usually alone in my room anyway, so that was no big change. There was still a strange feeling of isolation there. You could tell whether there were people around or not by the atmosphere. It's said that a house quickly goes to the elements after people stop living in it. Maybe I was seeing that in action. But more so than the atmosphere, they were my friends. As we'd discussed, they had all gone home, except for Rai-san. And saying goodbye to the friends I'd spent so much time with was truly a lonely feeling. But Chiyo and Ayaka-san had said they'd come back soon, so I decided to endure it till then, focused on my homework. But they really did give us a lot. I stared at the pile of homework on the table with a feeling of misgiving. Perhaps this was the invisible expression of Venus's will, keeping the students in line even during summer vacation. Skip ahead another week or so, and they're back. Chiyo came back after about a week, and we decided to work on our homework together. Did anything happen with you guys? No. Nothing. What about you, Chiyo? My parents were the same as ever. Met up with some friends from elementary and middle school too. Oh, I see. Wish I could have seen them too. I wasn't sure what I would say to them after running off the way I had, but I couldn't see any reason why I shouldn't try. They were all shocked when they heard you were at Venus's. Well, I guess that stands to reason. Hey, do you remember Stachoni from 8th grade? Yeah, she was the one with the braids. What about her? Turns out she was working on a novel all this time. It was selected for some kind of award. Isn't that amazing? Wow. That's right, she never talked much during break. She was always writing something. That's right. And also... sorry, I didn't mean to get all worked up about all those people you don't know. Not at all. Hey, Masaya, would you like to come to meet with them too? Let me see. Yeah, I guess I could take a day trip. A day trip? Well, it'd be a bit strange spending the night in that apartment. What do you mean? It's still your house, isn't it? Well, yeah, but you can't go back to the house you grew up in. They already repossessed it. Apparently that's standard procedure when someone runs out in a debt. I see. I guess they did. I went to see it, you know. My old place. Yeah. Since Stu and I went to the same middle school, naturally our houses were pretty close by. And there were strangers living there, and seeing that made me feel a bit lonely. I kind of know what it's like, 'cause I mean, the house I'm currently living in, and I am a 23-year-old and I live with my parents. It's depressing, but this house, we moved into it when I was 7. Yeah, 7. So we've now been in this house for about 16 years. And I'll freely admit, occasionally I get a little bit of nostalgia and I deliberately walk by the house where we lived in before that. And it's always a little sad. Don't get me wrong, I don't have many memories of that place because, it was between the ages of 0 and 7, so most of my memories from that time are very, very vague, but yeah, it's kind of sad. Same thing goes for my grandparents. They actually moved house fairly recently, a couple of years ago now. So the house that they lived in for, well, since before my mother was born, actually, I think. They eventually had to move out of it effectively because they couldn't cope with the stairs. So they moved into a bungalow, so a single-floored apartment. But it's kind of odd walking past the house they used to live in and just not seeing my granddad's car on the drive. Seeing somebody else's. It's a little sad, yeah. I never went inside, but you know how I came back to check up on you from time to time after your mother left? So watching complete strangers going in and out of it like that was the most natural thing in the world. It felt wrong somehow. I'm grateful for what you did for me back then. Chio shook her head silently, but I really did feel grateful to her. And when Chio came by to see me, she wasn't just visiting. Sometimes she came with food, or she'd say, we had more than enough, more than we could eat, just to make it feel less like charity. After my parents' divorce, my eating habits had become vastly poorer. Of course I cooked for myself, but without the money to spend, there were limits to what I could do. When she came by to help us like that, well, it brought tears of joy to my eyes. My parents were worried about you. They were surprised when they heard you were in Venice's, of course. Yeah, I should stop by and say hi. Say hi? Let them know I made it back safely. My beat-up old apartment isn't that far from them. Oh, I bet they'd be happy to see you. Sure. Oh, I'm sorry, we started talking about people you don't know again. Sorry. Not at all. I suppose I feel a bit envious. Huh? I don't have any childhood friends at Venice's. Haven't you lived in the dorms all this time? Isn't it everyone here like your childhood friends? I'm not sure. It feels rather different from your relationship with Masaya-san. Relationship? It's nothing all that special, right? Yeah. Silence fell over the group, and I turned my eyes back to my notes. Sadly, my misunderstanding of the formulas had vanished from my mind. Damn it. Sadly, my understanding of the formulas had vanished from my mind. Yeah, been there, done that. I'm not sure how to put it. Of course, there are some people I'm very friendly with and some that I'm not, but... Rai-san spoke as she wrote. There's no one I could point to and say, this is my childhood friend. But I rather wish that I had one. What does it mean, to be childhood friends? What? Well, if anyone knows, it should be you two. I looked up from my notes and looked straight at Chio. Being stuck together? At least try to put a positive spin on it. Shut up. That suits my relationship with you just fine. But in reality, I wonder what the childhood-friend relationship really was. I gazed at Chio's profile. Lots of people I'd stayed good friends with after I'd graduated elementary school. All of them boys. They were friends from elementary school, so they should be my childhood friends too. But Chio was something else, and there was something different about her. Is that just the difference between boys and girls, though? I'm not really sure. I guess it really is like being stuck together in the end. Oh, really? Why are you mad? You said the same thing. It seemed like an answer wasn't going to turn up, so I just went back to my homework. But it is summer already. Yeah, feels like the year's moving really fast. I guess that's because of everything that's happened. Yes, I feel the same way. But when summer comes around, I can't help but remember. What is it? She fell silent instead of going on, so I prompted her. Nothing, just... I'm talking to myself, I'm sorry. Ah. The next day, the two of them came by again. Salutations! Hello. Hey, homework again? No. Today we were wondering if you might be willing to assist us. Assist you? With this? As she spoke, Rai-san turned something over in her hands, and it looked like a key. This is the clarion key. Are you familiar with the graffiti on the walls of the top room with the bells? Graffiti? No, that's the first time I've heard about it. I didn't even notice it before. After all, it had been dark the last time we were there. I'd had bigger things on my mind. She explained on the way. It turned out there was a bit of a legend about the wall of the clock tower. They said that if two people wrote their names under an umbrella there, they would be linked for eternity. Wow, the girls do have boyfriends even at Venice's. Huh? Writing your names under an umbrella. That's what it's for, right? No, I don't know if they had boyfriends or not, but there are no boys' names written on that wall. Oh, really? Just try it sometime. It'll start a huge panic. Everyone will treat you as an enemy. But then who? Girls with girls, of course. Girls with... Good lord, they're admitting that lesbianism exists. Girls with... You mean like homosexuality? No, I don't think it's quite what you're imagining. You see a lot of it at all girls' schools, but I suppose you haven't noticed. Okay, what do you mean, it? Oh, how should I put this? She looked at Chio, as if asking for her opinion. Like, pseudo-romance? Yes, that's it, something like that. Like a simulator? There are romance simulator games out there. Yeah? That sort of thing seems to be outside of Raisan's sphere of knowledge, which was to be expected. Oh, that's right. You actually know two people who have a relationship like that. Huh? Who? Ritsuko and Konomi. Ah, I see. And I finally understood. So, what's this about the graffiti? An underclassman girl asked us to erase one. Erase one? The student council president, Marika Sama, is home for her vacation, so her duties fall to me. Why would they want you to erase something they took so much trouble to put there? She said that the other girl has been late in returning her emails since summer vacation started. She wants you to erase it over something that minor? It is only a pseudo-romance after all. It's not true homosexual love, it's just an easy substitute for the lack of men around. It's a shame. If they were serious about the romance, there might be hope for them. So there's no hope for them if it's just a pseudo-romance. That felt a bit backwards to me, but well, it wasn't my place to comment on someone else's affairs. Well, those who don't enter the clergy like the sisters will usually seek opposite-sex partners after they graduate. Even if they are raised in an all-girls environment, the Philodin Venices just tend in that direction. Right. Yeah, well, based on what I've seen, they've all got shockingly rich parents who'd probably lynch them. You know, if they didn't carry on family honour or some bollocks like that. In that case, wouldn't it be better if they weren't serious about it? But the air in Venices is too thick. It lingers with them even after they graduate. Forever. When they learn what normal is, they find it at odds with their school lives and they can become confused. And that worries me. It was a very concrete concern, and I wondered if it had had some root in her real-life experience. I wonder if she knows an older girl who feels that way. I'm sorry, it was a strange subject to bring up. No, not at all. By the way, what's a carrion? Carillion? Clarion? I assume it's something to do with the bells, but... Oh, carillon is just a term used for it. It's not a true carillon. Huh? By definition, a carillon must have 23 or more bells. A true carillon is a musical instrument. Oh, I see. But having a real bell tower is so stylish. I was surprised when I first came here and found out the school bell was a real bell. Yes, you could call it a symbol of our school. We unlocked the door and entered the tower, and unlike the last time we were here, it was brightly lit with sunlight. It's a really nice building during the day. Huh? I just mean... Well, it was pretty creepy at night. Well, people don't usually come here at night after all. And we climbed the stairs, and the spiral staircase that seemed so long and so short last time definitely felt long this time. And as we arrived at the summit, I looked up at the wall. Oh, you're right. It really is graffiti. Yes, the girls love things like this. But I see a lot of them are crossed out. It can be difficult to keep up a crush for that long. On a quick glance, I don't see Ritsuko and Konomi-chan are anywhere. Ritsuko doesn't enjoy things like this. By the way, a lot of them are drawn up pretty high, aren't they? I raised up a hand experimentally. Realised that a lot of them were drawn too high for even me to reach. A boy like me couldn't reach them. How did they draw them in the first place? They say that the higher you draw them, the more effective they become. So how do we erase it? That's where you come in. They're too high for even me to reach. I was hoping you'd be my stepping stool, Masaya-san. Oh, so that's what you meant by assist you. I'm sorry, the step ladder's broken at the moment. But the girl wanted us to erase it immediately, so... I get it. Like this then? I got down on all fours like I did when playing horsey for little kids. You should be able to reach... Ah! What are you looking at? Jeez. Chio pressed down her skirt, blushing. Oh, Masaya-san, how could you? And Raisa did the same. Nope, wasn't looking. I just got looked at. That's the same thing! Nope, difference between passive and active voice. Right, while he's arguing semantics, I think that's a reasonable point to end this video. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.